ask me a few questions I forgot about.
He
They
told
were
us
60 years old, though.
60 years old.
60-year-old
years
questions.
back.
He told him his whole story.
About the business.
How he started.
Well, I was just wondering a little bit about how you all met and courted and how Dad asked you
Oh, that could be.
to marry him.
Oral history.
You go on and tell that story again.
You can start.
Mom, you don't need to put on lipstick because this is going to be transcribed. We won't show the video to anyone.
Well, Bob and Gwen Dalton were our great introduction people, and they insisted that John take me out to eat.
And to let her know, I had left my wife and got a divorce, and I had the 2 children.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
raised the 2 children for some years before I met Booth.
And tell them how
This
the
is
Daltons
Lynn
made you
and
take
Johnny.
me out.
Lynn and Johnny, right?
And the Daltons called me one day and told me about this girl who'd gotten a divorce. And I said, well, how many children does she have? Gwen says, that's not important. I said, it is to me. He said, well, 4. I said, I'm not interested.
They're telling how they met her.
And she said, you owe me one.
She says, you owe me one, so you're going to take her out one time.
So
Sure enough,
that's,
he did.
That's how it started.
that's how it
Now, how
started.
did you both know the Daltons?
Well, I grew up in the Daltons' household. Bob was one of
And
my
I
best
was a
friend's
fraternity
brother.
brother of his at
And he
State
was
College.
the
Okay.
Sweet Mama was the only girl in town who had her own football outfit, and she was about 10
went up
years
to
old.
the Daltons.
Played with all the
and,
boys.
Outfit.
Way.
But I kept my horse out there at the Daltons, and every afternoon I'd go out there, and I had these 4 little children with me, and Bob would come and sit on the fence, and he said, Bootsy, I just gotta find you somebody. I've just gotta find you. So that's when they called.
We'll feed them and
Call.
clothe them and send them to prep school and college.
Braces
Cotillion?
and marry them off.
Because he was afraid he was going to have it. That when he
Married
married off.
That's right.
That's why he said, I gotta find
So
her.
anyway, that was in October, and I think what Gwen wants to get on here is when John was some porter, and
He was a fancy pants.
I heard all the, well, I have to tell the
Sharing.
perfume
Yeah.
story.
Sharing.
Can I tell the
Sorry,
perfume
okay.
Tell the
Yeah.
whole story.
Wait, first I have one question. It doesn't really relate to this story, but Dad, were you a Kappa Alpha
Yes,
at State?
yes,
Okay, so that's where we got the Kappa Alpha Rose story.
yes.
You were a
KA house.
Oh!
Of course, I was 17.
Did he go to State?
She was at Merida.
St. Mary's.
I'm St. Mary, sorry. That would be your name, Merida.
So anyway,
She's
John was
my
quite the man about
he was quite the man about
Kappa.
town, and he would
Get
come,
ready.
and when he would take me out, he would come, and he would come in, and he brought me a beautifully wrapped package from Montaldo's.
The first night?
I love the
Now, this is
Montaldos.
when we would
This is when they were
been
recording.
Oh. Wait, what was the first date like? Why did he come back for more?
You better watch that.
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
Yes.
I called him up and
You
invited him
did?
to Thanksgiving
She called me.
dinner.
The second
Are
time?
you playing hard to get?
He
Why didn't
called
you
and
call
told
her
me
back?
he
I
enjoyed
was
the
busy,
evening.
honey.
And
Looking for the
I invited him to Thanksgiving dinner, and he said he
Thank
was
you.
so sorry, but he
Couldn't
was going to
possibly
take
do
his
that.
children down on the
No,
boat,
I just don't want
Don't
you to
spill
turn
it.
it over.
on a boat trip, but he had Miss North Carolina with him.
This North Carolina.
I found out.
What?
John Carter.
What's the story about you guys, you passing him?
No, they were in New York.
Yeah, the New York
Engaged?
City.
Oh yeah, that's what I'll get
Engaged.
into that.
Okay, we'll get
I
into
gotta tell you
Keep
the
going.
perfume story because he would come by to pick me up to play tennis, and he was just so debonair and everything, and he brought me this beautiful package, and I opened it and I oohed and awed. It was a beautiful package.
Montaldo's was like the swank
Perfume,
story. You
yeah.
remember
And
that.
then we went out,
Didn't have a shaky hand.
and then we
She
went
wouldn't have
out.
minded though.
We went out and flipped open the trunk to put our tennis rackets in there, and there were 15 more just like mine.
Oh, of
Fuchs?
all- yeah.
wrapped from Matilda's, just like that. I didn't say a word.
Oh.
There you
And
go.
I came
Riding around
back
with Brian
You
I
never
think
know.
her number's probably wrong, maybe
But-
half a dozen.
I'd call my friend Sally
You
Dalton.
got a
and I'd
discount
say,
though. You buy 6, get one free.
"Can't believe what I saw in his car." And then I had this girl call me and she
Oh,
said,
I would have slammed your hand.
Did
in
he
the
know
trunk.
you saw it?
yeah.
Oh.
He said, but this girl called me and she said, "Boots, I don't think, are you dating John Carter?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Well, I don't think you should date him because he's just gonna date you and drop you." And I said, "You know what? We're just having a good time and I know he couldn't possibly be interested in me with 4 children." And boy, that just really shot her down. She thought I was gonna back out of that right away. And I think the thing that was that I never ever thought that he would be interested. I mean, we just had a good time.
You must have been some
Until
kisser,
Heath
baby.
Alexander.
She's cutting the tape. She had to be some kind of kisser for him to fall for her before.
Over Miss North Carolina with no kiss.
And then this girl,
John,
a very
Put
wealthy
your hand
girl,
over her face for a second. Just tell us the story.
and then, well, we did go on a boat trip.
Oh, that closed the deal
We
right
went
there.
on
Sealed
a
the
boat
deal.
trip, which was hysterical. He would call me, "Bootsy, I want you to come to New York, and you can stay on one side of the city, and I can stay on the other." And
Of the city? I thought you were going to say the hotel room.
I'd go down to my advisors, and I'd say, "He's called me to come to New York," and they'd say,
No.
"You're not going."
Open
And
to
he'd
you.
call me from all these places, and I can't tell you how many times he called me to come get with him. So finally, he called me and he said, "I'm taking,
You ever heard all this
I'm
stuff?
taking the
He's done it, but
boat.
never.
I'm taking
never
the
get
boat down the waterway, and would you come and join me?" And I called my Lillian, the black lady I have that
You didn't ask your advisor.
I did.
Because you knew
what
what
they would say.
I didn't ask my advisors, and I said, and I said, "Well, I'll call me early in the morning, and I'll let you know." And so I called Sally Robinson, and I said, my best friend, and I said, "Sally, I know we're supposed to go to that tennis match tomorrow, but I'm flying out of here at 7-something in the morning or something, and I want you to take me to the airport." And she said, "Boots, what could have happened between 11 o'clock last night and this morning?" And I said, "Sally, I know you're not going to approve of this." And she said, "Oh, I don't think you're bad, Boots." She said, "I just wish you hadn't called." She didn't
Sally Robinson is Bob Dalton's sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
That's how
You know
it
Russell
is.
Robinson, the Robinson law firm in Charlottesville? Robinson
Yeah.
something something.
He wrote the law.
Yeah,
Sally
Firm in
was
town.
Boots' best friend.
So anyway, he called me the next morning, and I said, "I'm coming." I'd gotten my maid to say she'd stay night and day. I said, "I'm coming," and he was so floored, and he had another girl with him. He was so floored, and I really don't even want to get into that. But
Florida.
He didn't think that you would really
he
come.
knew I was going to say no. He just asked me.
No,
But
oh,
anyway,
that's lovely.
guess what he had to do? I flew into Daytona, and guess what? His boat was somewhere. He couldn't even get there to meet me on the plane. He knew I would have a heart attack getting off the plane if he wasn't there, and he had to hire a plane and fly from his boat to meet me at Daytona. I mean, it
I
was,
was down near Fort Lauderdale.
he was wheeling.
What'd you do with the girl?
Yeah, where'd you leave the girl?
We're on an airplane.
A different one, I hope.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get into all that, but anyway, I'm gonna get to the airplane story. But hey, yes.
When'd you find out about the other girl?
Do New York after the airplane now. The New York City.
Oh, we got engaged,
Yeah,
and
but do
we
the
were,
airplane story for the
and
engagement.
we were. Oh yeah, the engagement first. It
Whoa.
should be there.
I
And
heard
that
this.
was, yeah, he
This is
heard
for
this.
posterity's
this is
sake.
good.
But anyway,
Keep out
we were flying in John's airplane, and he always came to see me Monday,